Hi everybody, welcome to the next lecture. This lecture is about combining integers. As you can see, this is part one. There are two parts to this lecture. The first part is about adding and subtracting. We're going to use a couple of different models, and these two models we'll use in class quite a bit, and they have to do with adding and subtracting. We'll also use them for multiplying and dividing in the next lesson. So let's get started. The first model you can see here looks like something you've seen before, and it is something you've seen before. All that this is a number line. So we're going to use a number line here. And we're going to use it for a simple problem. Let's start with the problem 3 minus 2. Pretty simple problem. We'll start by numbering our number lines. So I'm going to make this 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then over here we have our negative numbers. When you get past 0 to the left, the numbers get smaller. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. So now let's start the problem. We're going to start at 3. So at 3 is where we make our first point. Now that we have our 3, we're going to do minus 2. So to subtract 2, which way is negative? Yes, that's left. So once to the left, twice to the left for our answer, which as you know is a positive 1. Let's try another one. This time we're going to do negative 5 plus 3. So again, let's label our 0. I'll put 0 here this time. So moving right, of course, you have 1 and 2. Then going to the left of 0, count backwards. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, and so on if there was more out here. But we're going to do negative 5 plus 3. What you always want to do is box the number and the sign that's in front of it. This tells you where to start. So we're going to start at negative 5. So my first point right here on negative 5. Then box the number and the sign in front for the second half of the problem. This means we're going to move positive 3. Positive is which direction on the number line? Right, it's to the right. So we're going to move to the right 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and there's the answer. Negative 5 plus 3 is a negative 2. One more just for good measure. This time let's try negative 2 minus 3. So I'm going to start my numbering. Let's start with 0 right here. Of course, 1 and 2. Then going backwards, negative 1, negative 2, 3, 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. So there we've numbered our number line. So let's use our same steps. Box the number and the sign in front of it. Negative 2. So where are we going to start? Right, of course, on the negative 2. That's where your first point goes. After negative 2, box the number that's left and the sign in front of it. This is a negative 3. Which direction is negative? You got it by now, to the left. So we're going to move left 3 times. So 1, 2, 3 to our answer. Negative 2 minus 3 is equal to negative 5. Getting the hang of it? Okay, let's switch it up completely. You'll remember these from the previous video. These are our color counters. Our color counters are always this way. The red ones count a negative 1. The yellow ones, not going to work. The yellow ones count +1. So let's use these counters to help us solve a problem. So let's do the problem. 3 minus 1. This is actually way easier than you think it's going to be. So we're going to start with our color counters. First off, we need to box the number and the sign in front. So for boxing the number and the sign in front, our first number is 3, but there's no sign in front. Remember, if there's no sign in front of that first number, we assume it to be positive. So, positive 3. How do we draw a positive? Right, we need 3 yellow counters. Then next, we're going to need to do the minus 1. There are two ways of doing this. The first one is that we will introduce a negative counter. 1 negative. Then what happens is we have 0 pairs. So we have to take care of our 0 pairs. These two cancel out. Okay. It cancels out, and we're left with 2 positives. So the answer to the question of positive 3, take away 1, is of course 2. Now let's do the other way. So we started with our 3 positives, 1, 2, 3. Then take away, that's what minus means. Remember back in elementary school they called this take away 1. So if we take away 1, all we do is we take this counter and take it away. What's left? Same. 2 positive counters. So positive 2. Let's try another one. Next problem for us to try. Negative 3 minus 2. First things first, box the number and the signs in front. Negative 3. So what do we need? Exactly right. We need 3 negative counters. 1, 2, and 3. Now take away 2. Well, it doesn't really work here. So let's do this. Like we said, box the number and the sign in front. So I need 2 negative counters. So 2 negative counters. 1, 2, for a total of what? Absolutely. The total for this is negative 5. That's what it's equal to. Let's try one more just for good measure. Let's do the problem. Negative 3 plus negative 1. Alright, what's the procedure? Box the number and the sign in front. Alright, got that done. So we need 3 negatives. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, what's the next step? Of course, box the number and the signs in front. Wait a minute. We've got 2 signs here. What do we do with 2 signs? Here's a trick. It's what we call the mad triangle. Draw an upside down triangle. Make him look angry. Then what you do, if you see a sign here, you mark it out. See a sign here, mark it out. And what you're left with is the value of the number inside. So it is negative. So this is a negative 1. So we need 1 negative counter. Let's get that negative counter. So negative 3 plus negative 1 is negative 4. You want to try one more? Okay, let's try one more. This time let's do a different one. Let's do 2 minus a negative 3. All right, 2 minus a negative 3. Same procedure as before. Box the number and the sign in front of it. there's no sign, it's what? Positive. You're right. So, two positives. Positives are what color? Yes, they are yellow. So there's my two positives. Now we need to box the number and the sign in front of it. Once again, we've got two signs together. So use your mad triangle. One negative, mark it out. Another negative, mark it out. What does that make it? Positive. So both of these go away. And it's a positive 3. So we're going to bring in 3 positive counters. 1, 2, 3. So 2 minus a negative 3 is a positive 5, because those two negatives cancel each other out and make a positive. Any questions about this? Please ask in class tomorrow. Thanks. Have a good night.